So Peter's pretty blue in this whole pitch.
Stop.
I hate you. I know. Bad.
That was no. I'm
You
not
need
even.
to be more
was
clever.
I'm not
Sorry.
even entertaining that one. That was awful.
Jared, do the intro. You're the one doing this episode. You got to do the intro. That's how this works.
God damn it. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to It Has to Do with Spider-Man, I think. My name is Jarrett.
I'm Peyton.
And I'm Noah.
And welcome to Phase 2, everybody. We've kicked off with Swiss Miss, our first guest pitch. We're going to have more. But this will be our first mainline pitch of the three of us. Once again, I'm kicking off the mainline pitches here.
Woo!
I'm excited. We're starting with Spectacular Spider-Man, guys. We finally got a mainline Spider-Man movie in this Spider-Man-less Sony universe.
Yay! It's a big deal.
So I guess we can just end the podcast here, right?
Yeah, this is the final.
We know that it has to do with Spider-Man. We don't just think.
We know.
It's like we know for
The question's
sure.
been answered. The premise is over. We
So we can just leave.
we can pack it up.
Finally.
Okay, I'll see you guys later.
Just bet.
We're gonna ruin the like search engine optimization and retitle the entire podcast now to do with Spider-Man. And everybody's
Has to do
gonna
with
be like,
Spider-Man, nothing else.
period.
To do with Spider-Man or
Not to do with
not to do with Spider-Man.
That is the question.
Alrighty.
So, Peyton, I believe we had a few
Predictions?
predictions for this episode.
Yeah, we got like a couple. A couple on Blue Sky, a couple on our Discord page, which reminder to our listeners, be sure to join the Discord page.
Follow us on Blue Sky, follow us on Discord. Link is in the description and it is free. So
Yeah.
feel free to join us. We'd love to have you.
We really enjoy the discussions that are happening. Right now, one of our listeners has been writing like some Spider-Man stories set in their own sort of Spider-Man universe, which is really awesome.
Which kicked off with a rewrite of Madam Web, which is awesome, by
It's
the way.
amazing. Yeah, it is really good. So, in terms of predictions, I'm going to start with Blue Sky first. Cecina Marie says the kangaroo or the gibbon will make an appearance. And that's kind of interesting. There seems to be a couple predictions, and some of them are like rogues, others are plot, and then the third is kind of jokey and shitposty. So
It's not one that you posted, is it?
no, there's not a jokey or
Because you
shit
did that
post.
last time.
Yeah. This time we've actually gotten some genuine predictions. so Cecina says the kangaroo or the gibbon will make an appearance in the thing. Somebody else had suggested that possibly like Kingpin's goons. Jupiter had suggested that Kingpin and his goons will be a primary antagonist in this. Like we kind of hinted at in one of the past pitches that Kingpin was kind of building an army, and so Jupiter believes that that's going to be paid off in this pitch.
I have to say, I'm aware of Kangaroo. I did not know there was a Gibbon.
Gibbon.
Who is Gibbon?
Gibbon.
I think Gibbon was in El Muerto, if I remember correctly.
Everybody was in El Muerto.
I think he was one of the
The
fighters.
kitchen sink was in El Muerto.
I think he was.
Fascinating.
I think there was a kitchen sink in El Muerto. It made a cameo when they went into the kitchen.
That would make sense. Payne, do we have any plot predictions?
The user on Blue Sky, Typist in Neon, and suggests that the story is going to be told from the point of view of one of the journalists that plays like a major role in the Spider-Man mythos. So like Ben Urich or possibly Sally Floyd. And they're basically trying to solve, like, they're doing snippets of interviews and stuff to learn about Spider-Man, which is really interesting as a plot. And I don't know what the story is going to be, but Typist in Neon, you should write that. That sounds really cool. Or somebody should take that idea and do something with it. That could be a fun short film. Jonah, friend of the pod and recent guest episode pitchman, said, with 3 Spider-Man movies this phase, I feel like it will be somewhat connected to Lethal Protectors. And Jonah believes that this one is going to be set before Lethal Protectors, which is pretty interesting. Which, you know, we kind of explored a little bit of Spidey before LP, but that was only in El Muerto, now that I'm thinking about it. Like, you didn't play with Spider-Man. Oh, I mean, Otto. But I don't think neither one of us played much with him afterwards, after El Muerto. At least until Lethal Protectors.
Mm-mm.
Jupiter also says, this is the full Jupiter prediction. Spider-Man's still extremely emotionally raw after the death of most of his family, fights a bunch of Kingpin's goons, and has a moral crisis when one of them ends up dead due to his actions. Which, with this being a 3-movie trilogy for this second phase, the arc is going to be Spider-Man learns responsibility. Kind of similar to the Tom Holland No Way Home arc in a sense, I guess. Which could be interesting to see our take. But I think that that's most of the predictions. Somebody suggested maybe Rocket Racer, Hitman, Steeplejack, Vermin fight Spidey. And
a lot of pitches I noticed, well, I say a lot, I only was able to catch 1 or 2. Some are very, very specific.
Like, that's interesting.
Like, at least one person had a whole pitch, like a very specific pitch idea, and their prediction was that it would be exactly their pitch, beat for beat.
Which, that would be fun. That
would be insane if somebody predicted my whole script beat for beat.
Yeah, Discord user Phineas Thurston was the one that suggested that. Jarrett, how close did people get? I mean, you don't have to go in depth on this, but on a scale of like 1 to 5, how close did these people get in terms of predictions?
I think 1 or 2 people touch on elements that I would tackle if this were like a full script. This is a rough draft. We're hitting just shy of 30 pages here. This is brisk, but in a full draft, it would explore certain elements that people have brought up. But for the large part, nobody's really hit close to the mark on this one. So I'm really excited for everybody to hear what actually happens.
Are we ready to get into what happens?
I'm ready. I'm nervous. I always am nervous.
Well,
you got this, man. It's gonna be great.
Be nervous more. I'm gonna go pee. I'm playing. We got the cameras on, and I just wanted to see his face.
I'm gonna go livid. I'm gonna.
Peyton, we have a strict pee before the pod policy.
For further context, I was about
you signed the contract.
I was 20 minutes late because I was heating up dinner. In my defense,
you signed the triple P clause. The pre-podcast P is a mandate every recording, and you have
P.
Yes.
Get into it, man.
Yeah. Every time I speak, somebody interrupts. Holy fuck.
Come on.
So, submitted for the approval of Sony's board, except not really because I hate them.
Ooh.
We have The Spectacular Spider-Man. Act 1. Sirens blare. The sounds of a scuffle. Fade in a dark hallway, lit only by the red lights accompanying the alarm as they fade in and out. We hear people yelling, but we don't see them yet.
Get down on your knees! Show me your hands!
Silence. A second guard turns the corner just in time to see the first, thrown out a lab door and through an adjacent lab door, so fast we barely see him. Guard 2 cautiously makes his way to the smashed door, gun and flashlight drawn. Still silence.
Are you okay?
Guard 2 listens, but hears nothing. Then a large stone slab desk comes flying towards him, which he just barely ducks out of the way of. He stands up in time to hear running footsteps. Guard 2 brushes himself off, finds the unconscious body of Guard 1, steals himself, and ventures after the intruder. Cue the eerie, horror-inspired sequence. Sound of the last few pieces of glass falling make the guard jump. Paranoia leads him to shoot at what ends up being a creaky, swinging cabinet door. Throughout this, we're seeing the half-destroyed remnants of lab equipment and diagnostic reports. Finally, the guard finds the source of the commotion. a row of large, back-to-tank-esque devices. One has been smashed open. Guard 2 looks at the container in shock, and then slowly raises a walkie-talkie to his mouth.
This is Officer Conway. Subject 149 has broken containment, and Officer Esposito is down. I repeat, Subject 149...
Guard 2 is violently thrown to the side, hitting the wall and knocking the wind out of him. It's like he was hit by a bus. The dark figure darts back to the door, a run turning into a wall run, and finally a ceiling crawl, to get out of there as more and more guards begin to swarm this floor of the building. At one point, a handful of guards have the figure cornered, only for him to body slam the nearest one and use him as a human shield. The others cautiously follow him as he makes his way to the door before the guard begins to yell.
Help me! He's got my arm! The son of a bitch got my arm!
A loud snap is heard. Guard 3 screams before being tossed into the other guards like bowling pins. When more begin to pour up the stairs after the figure, it crouches low to the ground and jumps with all its strength clean through the roof and into the floor above. Chatter from the comms can be heard as this continues.
Subject 149 is on the move. I repeat, Subject 149 is on the move.
At every turn, the figure continues to evade capture, leaving destruction in its wake, along with many unconscious and or severely injured guards, before eventually being cornered against a window.
Hands on your head! Don't make me say it again!
Without a word, the figure slowly begins to raise its hands, before suddenly leaping through the window behind them out into the open air below. We finally see that these characters are in Fisk Tower, nearly 30 stories up. Officer Conway peeks down from the smashed window at the massive drop, before gesturing to a walkie-talkie.
Inform Dr. Warren that there's been a breach. His guinea pig just set itself loose.
The music swells. Cut to black. Title card. The Spectacular Spider-Man.
Ooh. Ooh. I meant to ask you, man, who did you decide on a director?
See, that's interesting. I looked through a lot of different kind of options, and honestly, I feel like this has got to be an unknown. A lot of Spider-Man movies, specifically Homecoming trilogy, they took a guy who was known for a couple short films, low budget stuff, and you could argue that they just used him because he was a fresh face who didn't have a lot of like weight behind his name yet. But I feel like you would want somebody who is more familiar with sort of a high school, college type movie setting. I didn't pick out anyone in particular, but really just somebody who like bring out an up and comer, like somebody who's showing promise, somebody who can capture like interpersonal drama
and a lot of frenetic action here.
Oh yeah, I mean obviously a larger studio can help with that a little bit, but you want somebody who can understand like personal growth, conversations, and just interpersonal relationships.
Sweet. I was trying to think of a director just based off this opening scene, and this is a really good opening scene.
So you mentioned that this is like gonna have more of a like college vibe. It didn't start in a college.
This is true.
That opening scene was definitely not like a school area. Seemed more like a lab.
This would mostly just be to try and capture the correct vibe for the age of the main character.
I do remember when I was growing up and I was locked in
Laboratory.
Back the tank for my junior year. It was really, really difficult to like make any friends when you're just kind of swimming around in juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get into the rest of the story.
So, frankly, this Peter Parker doesn't sound super
relatable.
Super relatable at the moment.
Yeah. Jared, you failed. You failed in making a relatable Peter.
You're right. We should stop the episode.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Or we could just keep going.
Yeah, I agree. So, timestamp across the screen. 4 hours earlier. So the first scene was in like mid-morning, just to give you like an idea, like 11 o'clock.
Timeline.
Yeah. So 4 hours earlier, early morning. We fade out to find that the logo was illustrated on an open notebook page, alongside designs for costumes and web shooters. Very Raimi Spider-Man. There are newspaper clippings on the wall about many of Spider-Man's antics across the city. An alarm clock starts to go off as 6:59 becomes 7 a.m. Shitty rendition of Reveille, or I believe that's how it's pronounced, The military morning bugle song, that.
Oh,
I've worked at camp before as a counselor, and I torture my kids every morning by using that as the wake-up call.
A figure turns in place in bed, revealing the face as Peter Parker, played by Jacob Timothy Manown, holding his pillow over his ears. The shrill sound is cut off by the voice of J. Jonah Jameson, played once again by Lawrence Fishburne.
Good morning, New York, and welcome back to the Morning Bugler. It's your favorite media personality, JJJ. The weather's looking clear for the 1st of September, high of 75 and sunny with no chance of rain. Now get your ass up before you're late to work.
We hear him talk beneath his breath a bit as he finishes his morning spiel.
Jared, which button is it again? This one?
We hear a long foghorn sound followed by the real trap shit sound effect, and then the Buddy Holly guitar riff, which sends Peter flailing out of bed and onto the floor.
Damn it, Jared, that's not the right one! What about this one?
Peter slams his hand down on the alarm clock, which flattens it, silencing the noise. He stands up, stretches, and sighs.
Peyton, that's you.
That's me? I've been so used to Noah being Peter. Okay. No place like home. Wait, fuck.
That was bad. That was bad.
Incredible work.
No place like home.
Music cue, Can't Slow Down by Almost Monday. We follow Peter through a montage as he rushes to get ready for his day to the music, double checking to make sure his Spidey suit is tucked away in the underside of his backpack. He struggles to find his phone until it buzzes, which keys him into where it's at. He has a text from Ben, saying to think about what he mentioned the other day and let him know once Peter's made a decision. Peter looks at it quizzically, clearly not certain what Ben's talking about, before shrugging and throwing the phone in his bag. He throws his hood up, opens the window, and slingshots himself out the window with a web shooter. Cue the swinging montage. Lots of flips, swings, and tricks. Peter's having fun, and right now nothing else matters. He stops a few small crimes on his way, making sure to obscure his face as he fights. He eventually lands safely behind the New York Public Library. We cut to Peter sitting down with his laptop to check his coursework for the week. With everything that happened in Lethal Protectors, Peter never had a chance to look into applying for any colleges, so for now he's taking online courses while he lives with Ben. When Peter opens his computer, he notices several assignments are unfinished or haven't been started yet. One's even past due. He seems surprised, but locks in and starts to get to work. An hour or so passes, and eventually Peter is caught up and turned everything in that he was behind on. As he's closing his laptop, he gets another notification from his phone. It's an unknown number this time. The following conversation does that phone thing where you see their screen over their shoulder as they look at it with little text bubbles popping up on their own. The unknown number says, "Hey baby," heart emoji. "You still swinging my way later tonight?" Peter looks confused and thinks to swipe away, but curiosity gets the better of him.
I think you have the wrong number.
Ha! I doubt that. One bubble. Another bubble. Unless you had someone else's phone in your pocket Saturday night. Peter blinks. Who is this? He didn't remember seeing anyone save for Ben and the occasional mugger recently. The unknown texter speaks again. Ah, I get it. You want to be the one playing hard to get for a change. Fine by me. Be seeing you, Spider. This makes Peter stand up quickly. He darts his eyes around, looking to see if anyone might be watching him, but he sees nothing. Spider sense is also quiet. No danger. Peter quickly packs up and makes his way around the back of the library and up onto the roof. Still nothing. He gets another phone call, this time from a number he does recognize.
Parker, you never made it to work this morning. You get down to the summit yet?
Peter thinks back. The Alchemax Science Summit. He remembers hearing it was this month, but he didn't realize he'd been added to the Bugle's press staff attending yet. He stammers a bit as he responds.
Yes, sir. I'm on my way there now.
On your way doesn't mean you're there yet, Parker. You're the one who said you wanted this assignment since you're so obsessed with this sort of thing anyway.
Yes, sir. I won't let you down with this one.
Yeah. Just try and get some photos that'll actually excite people. You're not a tourist. You're working, remember? And remember,
Peter sighs.
If there's any side of Spider-Man, ignore everything else. Spidey is priority number 1. Yes, sir. I know.
Good man, Parker. I know I can count on you.
Jonah hangs up on Peter. who puts his phone away in his frustration. He eyes his surroundings, trying to focus his senses one last time. Still nothing. He shakes his head and swings away. Some distance away, a woman lowers her binoculars. Her white hair falls into her face a little as she smiles. Peter enters the gigantic building and shows his ID to get his press pass. The summit is a massive international event where different companies and institutions showcase the leaps in science and engineering that have been made that could be applied to creating a better, brighter future. Now, side note, this is actually a real thing. There's an international science summit held in New York every September.
Ooh, fun.
So international science teams will travel and just kind of showcase all of this crazy new stuff they're working on.
That sounds pretty dope.
Right? It's also an opportunity for these groups to catch the eye of potential investors with deep pockets. It's basically Epcot or a massive international science fair. Peter, as you can imagine, is immediately overwhelmed and amazed at all the different projects on display. There's algae being showcased that's been genetically engineered to feed off of greenhouse gases, advancements in robotic limbs, new energy conservation techniques, engines that can feed off of food waste, the list goes on and on and on. Peter's snapping photos left and right, asking questions, theorizing on potential solutions to the hurdles being presented in their research. He is in heaven. Meanwhile, higher above, two figures are having a conversation while looking down at the crowd below. The first voice we recognize to be Miles Warren, played again by Hugh Grant.
You know, I'm still very wary about you showcasing my research down there.
The other voice speaks out, played by Charles Dance, although his face and body are masked by shadow.
You worry too much, my Weasley little friend. Showing this technology to our peers will help us to work out the kinks you're so desperate to solve.
Miles Warren seems agitated.
It's a vital resource worth billions of dollars, not a baking soda volcano.
We now see the face of Mendel Strom, who some people may remember from Otto. But we cut away before we see his head turn towards Miles.
And it'll likely draw out your little mistake you're so desperate to reclaim.
Miles shakes his head and quiets down, still not pleased, but tired of arguing the point. Perhaps also shaken by the face he's seen staring back at him. Back downstairs, Peter has just gotten through with a conversation about the benefits of genetic cloning on global food production. He moves on and snaps a photo as a new project is unveiled from Oscorp's Cognitive Research Division, codename the Living Brain. The Living Brain is described as a device used to tap into the human consciousness and help to pull forth long-forgotten memories and even dreams. The scientist showcasing the device discusses its potential benefits for aiding Alzheimer's patients, aiding those with severe depression, or even for use in dream therapy. They call out for a volunteer, and before he knows it, Peter is already up at the demonstration table. The scientist works to hook up a small device to connect to Peter's head. Once it's connected, the scientist begins to explain how the living brain works. So, once the device has made a stable connection to the mind in question, the device will start to detect the subject's brainwaves. We notice as the machine begins to whir and click before making a sound signaling the link has been secured. Peter is in awe. Now, once the connection has been made, the brain will begin to decipher the waves like a computer deciphering ones and zeros. Binary code of the human mind, decoded and laid open like a book. Peter's spidey sense starts to go off.
And how does the device access those brainwaves?
Well, the brain lets off these signals constantly, so reading and deciphering them as they happen would require a level of speed and power that modern computers don't yet possess. So, he gestures to the screen connected to the device, which starts to show a growing map of a human brain. Instead, it records a perfect copy of those frequencies and deciphers them later. Peter's spider sense is starting to build higher now.
So the device creates a duplicate copy of someone's mind? Isn't that unethical or something?
The scientist shrugs. Well, laws aren't really in place for something like this since this is the first of its kind to exist, especially in such an advanced state. Besides, there's no tissue or nerves in it. It's not like it's an exact duplicate. Peter starts to panic. He needs to find an excuse to get out of here before the scan finishes. He shoots the scientist a glance as he begins to look at his computer. The scientist cocks an eyebrow at what he sees. Boom! The glass roof high above the summit shatters, sending broken glass raining down onto the screaming people below. A figure in black descends down to the floor as officers raise their guns toward the attacker. Peyton, just read cop.
Let me see your hands.
The figure kicks on.
I was
Noah,
wasn't
you read
ready.
for cop.
Fuck.
You've barely read today. It was an accident, but you'll get more later.
Let me see your hands.
Okay. The figure kicks a hunk of fallen stone into the air with his foot and sends it straight into the cop's chest. The cop grunts and crumples to the ground, unconscious. The other officers fire, prompting the mystery man to rush them. The assailant is tremendously agile and incredibly strong, leaping off desks and tables and flipping in the air to dodge oncoming fire and beat down the cops firing at him, going for ways to incapacitate them rather than go for the kill.
Miles Warren, where are you?
People inside the building rush to the exit, packing in tight, making it nearly impossible for Peter to sneak away. Nearly. He manages to web his camera to a nearby pillar and maneuver his way into a supply closet. After a moment, he smashes out and snags Mystery Man with a web. Spider-Man is here. Mystery Man looks down at the web and back up to Peter.
What the hell?
My thoughts exactly. Do you realize how expensive the stuff you just destroyed is? I don't think anyone here had crackpot invention insurance.
He pulls forward, making Mystery Man stumble forward a half step as Spider-Man pulls himself forward to punch him in the jaw.
Is that a thing? I feel like it should be.
Mystery Man dodges Spider-Man's punch, causing him to stumble forward.
A thing?
Peter's spidey sense goes off a second before he's roundhouse kicked at the base of the skull and sent face first into the ground. Spider-Man quickly stands back up and catapults himself forward using 2 inside pillars, only to be dodged and countered again.
This isn't your fight, weirdo. And I don't know where you got the suit, but you're clearly not Spider-Man. So stay out of this while I sort out a disagreement with the good doctor.
Mystery Man looks up to see that both men we had seen before are long gone.
Damn it! You made me lose them!
Yeah, I tend to be quite the distraction. I mean, I didn't used to think I was that handsome. But hell, no one could even see me under the mask, so I don't know how.
Mystery Man throws another punch, which Spider-Man easily dodges and counters.
God, do you ever shut up?
Spider-Man tries to grapple Mystery Man only to be dodged and countered in equal measure, sending Spidey into a hallway.
Not usually. You seriously must be new. Most anyone knows I...
Spider-Man rounds the corner to find the Mystery Man has vanished. He looks around to make sure everyone is safe, stopping to lift some fallen rubble to allow one trapped civilian the chance to escape, grabs his camera and backpack, and sets out to chase after Mystery Man. When he leaves through the way Mystery Man came in, Peter watches as a small black dot moves between buildings to try and avoid detection. He sets out to follow, making sure to keep enough distance between the two of them. He had some sort of sixth sense like Peter did. He couldn't risk Mystery Man discovering he was close behind. He soars above the skyline as the man in black sneaks from the shadows underneath. Meanwhile, he hears a nearby radio on his windowsill already reporting on the attack on the summit. It's Jonah, because of course it is.
And of course you know Spider-Man made an appearance. Don't get me wrong. Certainly seemed like Spidey did some good there. And we'll have a play-by-play of the fight itself available on Taps, my evening news podcast. Available now wherever you get podcasts, by the way. My point is, we still don't know what the assailants' goals were. There's a chance that...
We don't hear the rest as Peter swings by. Peter recognizes this part of town. He likes to swing by this area when he's at risk of being followed home.
Odd. We're a little too close for comfort here.
Soon, that part of town becomes the same block. Then later, the same street. Peter's starting to get more and more worried. In a quick reaction, he decides to stop on a roof of a nearby building to watch. Sure enough, the figure eventually enters through the open window Peter had left open earlier that morning. We watch the Mystery Man start to frustratedly search through the room, picking up clothes and opening and shutting drawers, before groaning in frustration and yanking off the black mask. Standing there in view of the window is the face of Peter Parker, played again by Jacob Timothy Manown. End of Act 1.
That's right, baby. We're doing clothes. We're doing clothes.
We're doing clothes, motherfucker.
That's right.
Clone Saga.
Our first Spider-Man story is one of the most hated Spider-Man storylines in comics history.
Let's go. I am so excited for this. I've been excited for this.
Okay, Jarrett. First act done. Very well done.
Yes.
I like the setup quite a bit.
I'm sitting here going, is this Peter Prime or is this Peter not Prime?
Well, that's the question of the story, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm more interested actually right now in the choice of the living brain. Because that is a very obscure villain. Wikipedia says he has made few subsequent appearances since first appearing in Spider-Man number 8. And this is usually just kind of a robot who keeps upgrading himself over time to become like a true villain. So I'm interested in what you might have for this going forward.
Intriguing.
So, people who may remember my pitch for Otto will remember that Oscorp had what was called a living brain, the living brain.
Mm-hmm.
And it is seemingly what Mendel Strom, or the remains of Mendel Strom, last we saw him, who had been separated into pieces like butter when Otto attacked and broke out of Oscorp.
This is true. But it seems like Mendel Strom is still alive currently. How could that be?
Many questions for this pitch. This is interesting.
I like the dialogue too between Peter and the mystery man, Peter, the other Peter.
So from for the rest of the script, we will differentiate by saying that Peyton is playing Peter 1 and Noah is reading for Peter 2, who was Mystery Man.
Okay,
cool.
That's easy enough, and that's good. That's good that we're both reading a character. It's the same character.
They should be clarified throughout the script. There may be some moments, but if in the event that it doesn't clarify one or two, it should be pretty obvious which.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Intriguing.
We ready to move into Act 2?
Yeah.
Yer.
Don't yer.
Don't yer.
Yes.
Yer is not allowed. We have a strict ban on yer.
No yer. Okay.
This is a no yer zone.
Yes, Father, I'm in fact ready to adhere to listening to.
I don't know if that's worse or not.
Yes, Father, let us commence it to Act 2.
Act 2. Peter 2 throws his mask into the closet. This is the one who is currently inside the Parker home. His suit and web shooters are missing. He feels a strange sensation on the back of his neck, quickly turns his head to look out the window. Peter 1 ducks behind the roof to hide from Peter 2's gaze. Peter 2 looks like he's about to investigate when a voice is heard from downstairs. It's Ben Parker, played again by Adam Scott. Peter? You up there, buddy? Peter 2 stays quiet, choosing instead to turn and face his bedroom door, lock it, shut off the light. Peter 1 stumbles off the roof and web swings away. We hear him speak again in an inner monologue.
What should I do? I can't just barge in there and tell Ben there's someone impersonating me upstairs. That'll open a whole can of worms. I have to figure out how this happened and who did it. The quicker I do that, then maybe I can find a way to fix this.
The afternoon rolls on, no leads on where to go from here. Peter winds up making his way back to the Daily Bugle. Peter barely makes it through the elevator doors before Jonah is already right over his shoulder.
Parker, told me you have those photos of that summit attack.
Peter half-heartedly lifts his camera out of his pack before it's snatched out of his hand and passed to another staff member.
Robbie, get the card out of this thing and let me know what's actually worth putting on the front page, would you?
Robbie grabs the camera as he passes by without a word, makes a beeline for his desk. Jonah snaps his fingers and points at Peter.
You, my office. I want to talk to you.
Peter sighs and follows. Jonah lets Peter in first and shuts the door behind him. Not long after Jonah sits down at his desk, he gets a new email from Robbie with the best photos from the summit. Jonah scrolls through them silently before eventually sighing and turning to face Peter.
Parker, most of these are the experiments on display. Yes, sir. That's what you sent me here to photograph. Yes, I did. And what did I say about it? Mr. Jameson, the attack didn't happen until the end of most of the demonstrations. I took what photos I could, but there was a lot of panic. It's hard to focus the camera when people are trampling one another to get out of there. Parker, out of focus is one thing. What photos you did take look like there were nobody behind the camera. I could have set the camera up on a tripod and got better pictures than this, boy.
Peter slumps in his chair. Jonah notices and uncharacteristically softens for a moment.
Kid, I just know you could do better. I've seen when you're really trying, and this isn't it. If something's going on at home, then nothing's going on at home. Okay. Janine up front will see to your payment. Just let me know if you need anything, okay?
Peter 1 seems a little bit weirded out, but sighs, nods, stands up to leave before turning to face Jonah.
Hey, did I come into the office earlier today at some point?
Jonah blinks.
Kid, I haven't seen you all day. You were at the summit. Are you sure you're okay?
Peter waves it off.
No reason. I'll be more careful with the camera next time, Mr. Jameson. Have a good one.
As Peter leaves the office, Robbie walks in, holding the final choice for tomorrow's front page. He sits down as he passes it to Jonah.
Honestly, sir, I'm not sure why you do it.
Do what?
Keep Peter around. I mean, he was hired without much of an interview, and he barely knows how to hold that camera, let alone use the focus properly. All these photos come out blurry.
Jonah inspects the photo Robbie passed him, which is supposedly the best of the bunch. Sure enough, it's barely comprehensible.
Just clean it up the best you can and run it anyway.
But, sir...
You ever almost lose someone, Robertson? Someone close to you, someone you cared about?
Robbie pauses at this.
Yeah, once. The Hydro Man almost killed my younger brother during a bank robbery a month or so back. But Spider-Man saved him.
Jonah chuckles at this.
Of course he did. You know, I had a niece that was nearly killed like 20 years back. The Parkers helped save her life. Same Parkers that were killed in the explosion at Feast. That boy's aunt and parents.
Oh, God.
I owe that boy's family for saving so many people, my niece included, to look after what's left of theirs. It's the least anyone in this city can do to try and return the favor.
He tells Robbie again to clean up the photo the best he can, turns around in his chair to stare out the window. Now, of what I had the time to write, the second half of Act 2 is the one that gets summarized the most. This I will try and do it the best I can because there is at least one scene here that is really important for the story going forward. And I really wish I could have fleshed it out more, but just time constraints. It's important to note that this whole story takes place over the course of one day, just the 1st of September of this year. So the day is slowly progressing as events go on. So right now it's just now starting to hit mid-afternoon, I would say. As Peter leaves, he gets a call from the same unknown number. He's in costume again and he's swinging, telling him to look at the roof of the building behind him. There's a woman with white hair there who waves at him. Closer inspection reveals that this woman is played by Mikey Madison.
Yes! Did I break my mic? Is it okay?
Your mic is okay, baby.
Okay, all right.
You peaked the mic there a little bit.
I saw the bar go all the way into the red, and I was like, "Oh Jesus!"
Peter turns and begins to swing towards her, but as he gets close, she swings away on a grapple line. The chase is on, so they play this little back and forth. He's chasing, she's running off. They're trying to hide, catch. Blah, blah, blah. It's supposed to be cute. When he eventually does catch her, though, he gets really aggressive because, as far as he remembers, this woman just has his number for no reason and seemingly knows who he is. So he demands to know how she knows him and how she got his cell number. And in response, she just kind of looks confused. She's like, you gave me your number, man. Says you gave it to me. And talk about who she is. He's like, I know who you are. Felicia Hardy, Black Cat. Oh, yay.
Yeah.
But Peter doesn't remember them ever having dated, much less him willingly giving somebody his number or telling anyone else who he is. According to her, they were supposed to be tracking the whereabouts of Mendel Strom and Miles Warren to figure out what their connection is to the summit, suspecting that there might be some sort of foul play involved. So this has seemingly been going on for weeks, maybe even a month or more. And Peter has no recollection of this. He kind of gets led on about this. They're tracking Mendel, or they're tracking Miles, excuse me. And there's not much to go on. They're like, well, he spends most of his time at Fisk Tower. He doesn't seem to ever leave. So he's clearly set up there. And it's revealed that while none of this is ringing any bells, Peter's just kind of been being led along throughout. Eventually, he realizes that she's skimming like some of his earnings off the top secretly. And he immediately blows up. He freaks out. He's like, I knew it. This is some sort of bullshit trap excuse for you to steal from people. And Felicia's just like more confused. She's like, I don't know what your deal is, man, but whatever's going on with you, you need to get your head on straight. Talk to me once you figure yourself out. Bye. And she just dips out and leaves. So he tries to chase after her again, and she disappears. He straight up has no clue where she is now. Can't chase after her after that. Peter takes the info that he has on Mendel and Miles Warren, and he makes his way back to the Alchemex summit. And when he gets there, Mendel's waiting for him. Now, Mendel he's in a lab coat, nice clothes. He does have sort of a metal patch on the side of his head and going down his neck a little, but for the most part, he looks fine. So for people who recognize it from Otto, he doesn't really look all that banged up, even though last time you saw him, he was in pieces. And Mendel's just like, hey, Spider-Man, you want to come check this out? And Peter's like, what? Okay. And so Peter is just really taken aback by like this person who is apparently a bad guy just being like, hey, man, what's going on? Come on, follow me.
Hey, man, what's going on, bud?
Get in my car.
So they go.
Does Middlestrom dap Peter up?
Peter, what's good, bro?
What's good? What's good, bro?
He's like, what's going on? He's like, don't do that. You're like 80. He leads him into this sort of secret offshoot of the building, types in a code, opens up a part of the wall that didn't look like an elevator, and they start going down. And they keep going down. And then they keep going down. This goes on for a while, to the point that it's concerning. And when they finally stop, they find this underground lab underneath Alchemex, where the real Alchemex Summit is going on. The real Alchemex Summit is when all of this cool stuff that they just showed off to the public is really being sold and funded for use in like some shady dealings. So like being sold off to terrorist organizations or being funded by mad scientists, being used for just nefarious purposes. Invasive testing on people who obviously aren't supposed to be there, human cloning, mind control, memory manipulation. It's doing this under the guise of international peace and progress when many have the ulterior motive of controlling and ruling over the people of the world. So there's this secret cabal that just kind of meets up once a year, and they're just like, hey, man, you got any cool new stuff for me that I can just like use to be evil? It's the Evil Scientist Convention.
You mean like the Illuminati?
Maybe. Very, very, very inspired by.
I think I see Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, Blackagar, Boltagon, and a couple others in this room.
None of you caught on to my Illumawati.
Illumawati?
I hate you.
Oh my god.
Of the people that are here are representatives from Fisk Enterprises, Oscorp, Roxxon, Horizon Labs. They're all either in on it or have moles within their organization sharing unethical shit with one another. And this whole time, Mendel's just kind of like acting casual. He's like, hey, this is what we got. And he's like giving him a tour of the place. And Spider-Man is just horrified. Earlier today, he was seeing all this stuff and his nerd brain was just like on overload about like, think of all the good we could do. Spider-Man PS4 game. Like he's working with a person and he's like, all of the good that we could do with science and engineering and experimentation, all this stuff. He is seeing the other side of that coin now. He is seeing this like secret club of international evil scientists who get together and figure out how to fuck with people for fun and money. And it's horrifying. And all he can do is just follow Mendel and just be like, what the fuck is happening? What? This isn't... Oh, God. and it's slowly getting worse and worse. He's led into the depths of the main building, and they go down another elevator, and it takes them into this other room, and it just keeps going. And finally, Peter's like, "Why the hell are you showing me this, man?" Peter's in costume. It's not like he's some guy. He's full Spider-Man gear, and even people in the building like look at him and they like whisper to one another, "That's fucking Spider. Why is Spider-Man? Do we need to be worried?" And Mendel's like, "Eh." And finally, he's like, "Why are you showing me this, man?" And Mendel's like, "Oh, you're not leaving." He's like, "What?" Mendel picks up his foot, which is revealed to be fully metal. He looks like an Ultron robot, and just kicks him into a lab room and slams the door shut.
Mm.
And he's locked in tight. It's like one of those hermetically sealed, like there's no getting out of it. It's locked. He's like, "Well, I'm gonna go talk to Warren and let him know that I got you now." And he calls him up and he's like, "Hey man, I got your guy." And then there's conversation on the other line. And he's like, "What? What do you mean? Oh, shit. You didn't tell me that. Fine." He's like, "Ugh." So whatever is on the line clearly pissed Mendel off. He did not know all the details. He thought he was doing Warren a favor, and clearly he's only made it worse. And he's like, "Fuck, I just walked him through all my shit." So he's just like, "Oh no."
Okay.
So Mendel freaks out and he's telling everybody, like, rally the guards. They've got people. They just send him down there. We need to get rid of this guy. They're like, "Why the fuck did you send him down there?" He's like, not now." He's like, "I thought this was something else." So he leaves and he's sending for guards. And the moment that they try to kill Peter, he's immediately busts out and he starts tearing through guards left and right. He's tearing apart equipment. He's like, this all needs to just go up in flames and burn. He's running into like weird, horrible experiments that are like terrifying body horror-esque stuff, just nasty stuff to look at, that are being sent after him. Mendel, once he realizes Peter is just fully blowing through everybody, he's like, "Damn it." And he's going to try and go after Peter himself. But everything around them is collapsing. Peter's just absolutely wrecking house. And eventually it seems like as Peter's like racing back up the secret facility, trying to get back up, Mendel is like, he's doing that thing that you see in a lot of movies where he's like hanging on and then he like falls. And over the course of this chase where Mendel's like chasing after Peter, he's like losing bits of clothing. You realize like his face that you saw at the beginning is like the only human part of him that's really left.
Ooh.
The metal that was like on a piece of his neck is like half of his right side of his body and his hands. And he's like, if you've seen the original Terminator, and then like as he's losing the bits of flesh and you see like it's just a whole metal skeleton, and it's doing that stop motion like rickety walk chase thing. It's full on that.
Could this be stop motion, please?
I would love it if it could be.
Yes.
And of course Charles Dance is doing his Charles Dance thing where it's just really sadistic and horrifying.
The game is on. The game is on.
Is he Charles dancing?
He's Charles dancing it up.
It's gonna sound bad. I think the only movie I've ever seen him in is Dracula Untold. I've never seen a Game of Thrones. I've never seen.
Have you not seen Godzilla King of the Monsters?
Oh yes, where he also had a Game is on in that one too.
He did.
Yeah.
He played an eco-terrorist, I think.
Yeah. He goes, "The game is on again." I said that once before in a different movie.
He says the game is on and gets stomped on by Godzilla.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking at his thing. I've only seen him in all of his worst products. So I've seen him in Godzilla King of the Monsters. I've seen him in Your Highness, and I've seen him in Dracula Untold. I haven't seen anything else with it. And King of the Monsters is really good, except for like the human stuff.
It's all right.
It's fine.
I like when he kills creatures.
King Ghidorah in that movie is insane.
Yeah.
Love Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Everything else, eh.
I don't know if this is getting cut or not. We'll see how long the episode runs.
Yeah, continue with Mendel Strom Terminator hunting Spider-Man.
Yeah, of course. Eventually, once Miles is in like a separate location, we don't see him, but he sets the place to self-destruct. He's like, if Peter's there, then just fuck him.
Oh, don't do that. That's not this kind of movie.
Shut up. Oh my God. He's like, okay, everybody's just over there is just dying. If Peter finds out, if he leaves, then the jig's up. Just get rid of it all. Pretend it never happened. And he works for Fisk, so Fisk can clearly make that happen, where he's just sweeping under the rug. What science summit? It's not in any of the papers or websites. Oh, that's weird. The only thing that Peter leaves with, the only thing that he takes with him is the living brain, because he's having these like memory things throughout. And he's like, somebody messed with my mind ever since the living brain sort of started to make a copy. I feel like I'm forgetting stuff. And so when he sees the living brain, he takes it with him. It's not like a massive thing. It's like something he could like scoop under his shoulder. It's like a little ball that you would hook up to other mechanics. So he's got that under his shoulder, and when he finally escapes, he's back where he was when he was like at the front of the building. And he opens it up and he starts to hook it up. He's like, maybe this can answer why I'm having these like foggy spots. Because clearly he doesn't remember Felicia. He doesn't remember a lot of little bits and details that he feels like he should. And he opens up the living brain trying to figure out, see if he can unearth this stuff. And the living brain finds nothing. The scientist was weirded out and raised an eyebrow when he read it, because the guy's memory, his memory doesn't really go back farther than like a week or two.
Ooh. Aha.
Intriguing.
No.
Frustrated, Peter's first thought is that something else like messed with his mind. This Miles Warren guy like messed with him, or like stole his memories, or it's like fogged his mind to allow their whole underground facility to go unnoticed. Something was done to his mind to like frazzle him and make him complacent, like not put two and two together. So he's frustrated. He wipes the living brain's data, kicks it over, sends it flying. And Peter 2 reveals himself again. And Peter 2 just is a nuisance. Like anytime you see Peter in the comics, there's like nice, caring Peter, and then there's like just asshole Peter. And this guy's like all the time asshole Peter. And it really gets on Peter 1's nerves, and they have another fight. It's not so much like out of protection like the original one was, like stop, like save the day and save people, like was Peter 1's goal. Peter 1 is just mad right now. He's like, I don't know what is going on. You need to leave me the hell alone. This kind of travels across the city. Whenever one gets knocked out, the other one runs away, and Peter 2 follows him, and he's like, leave me alone. I don't know what's going on. And he's like starting to have a panic attack almost. He's like, it's too much information to take in at once, and it's escalated to the point of just like, I just need to think. I need to get away and think for a second. They finally just confront one another on the roof of the library again, and Peter 1 is demanding to know why the imposter shares the same face with him. Peter 1 explains like his memories are missing, stuff's not right, something happened and he doesn't know why, and it has to do with this other guy. And he's demanding to know, like, if you know something, tell me. He's like, why don't I remember this? Why don't I remember having a girlfriend? Why don't I remember bits and pieces of everything? Where are my parents? I haven't seen them in weeks. I don't remember what happened. He's like, just pieces are missing. Something is wrong and I don't know what. Please tell me if you know what's happening. Peter 2 is not friendly about it, but he's like, my parents are dead. I don't know what your situation is. You're not me. And Peter 1 is just shocked, distraught. He's like, what? Dead? What do you mean dead? And the moment Peter 1 mentioned like talking to some girl in black with white hair, Peter 2 like completely loses track of whatever they were talking about. He's like, Felicia, and he runs off. He's like, where? And he goes after where Felicia was last seen. And so Peter 1 is left there to be like, what is going on? And with nowhere else to go, he goes back to Ben's place. And he just kind of shows up on the front door, at the front stoop. Spider-Man costume is on. He hasn't changed. He hasn't taken it off. It's raining. He's wet. He's tired. He's alone. He's confused. He knocks on the door. Ben answers. He says, please help me. I don't know what's going on. Something is wrong. I don't remember. Can you please tell me what happened to my parents? Ben takes him in. They sit down. You can tell that they've grown very distant in the past couple months. Ben is patient, kind, but he's clearly upset about having to talk about it out loud. Like, neither one of them moved on. Like, it's been maybe 3 months, and they haven't really talked but maybe once or twice since the funeral for anyone, any of the three of them. And they share the same house, but they don't share the same space, if that makes sense. They don't talk. There's a wall that's been put up over time that nobody's talking to one another. This is the first time that Ben's really had a full-on conversation with Peter in months, maybe since the funeral. And so he explains what happened that night at Feast, what happened to Peter's father not long after.
Real quick, what does he know about Richard's death?
Neither one of them know much.
Okay.
All Ben knows is that he showed up to comfort his brother-in-law, and his brother-in-law was tied up to a chair and shot in the head.
Biological brother.
Yeah.
That's suspicious.
Did Ben Parker kill Richard to
keep
adopt
going.
Peter?
Keep going.
Where was I at? Throughout it, Ben's struggling to keep himself composed. You can tell that this is really the first time he's openly talked about it either. We find out that what the text was about at the very beginning of Act 1, when Peter 1 was like, I don't know what Ben's asking me, was that it's been a couple months and neither one of them has touched any of their things. Like, they haven't gone through the Parkers' stuff. They haven't gone through Aunt May's stuff. They don't know what to do with it. He doesn't want to do it alone. And so you can tell Peter is still upset. He just found all this out just now, but he agrees to sit there with Ben, and so that they have somebody there to do it together. And so that's what they do for a while. They go through a large number of different items, different mementos, family photos, souvenirs. Some items they decide to keep. A lot they decide to donate to Feast, sort of like a gesture. Throughout it, Ben is telling stories about Peter's parents, childhood memories, stories. Some of them Peter remembers being told. Some of them he doesn't. Whether that's just from time or because of whatever's going on in his mind, he doesn't know. It's clear that they're both pretty distraught. Neither one of them moved on, like I said. At the very end, they both share a hug, and you can tell that this has been like a very therapeutic moment for the both of them. That's where we end Act 2.
Pretty good.
A lot of that was... I didn't know how to put that scene into words, so I kind of avoided it for a bit, but I was like, it's been 3 months. I don't see them having done that yet.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And given how Peter's been characterized up to this point, it's certainly not something that he would want to do. Like, he seems like, to me, up to this point, he seems like somebody, if something like that had happened, he would avoid it and be very like standoffish about even tackling the subject or touching it or talking about it. And so because of that, not that it's Peter's fault, but Ben and Peter both have obviously not dealt with it very well.
Mm-hmm.
They moved in together just because of the situation. It made sense, but neither one of them are like communicating with one another. Walls are being put up. It's a very cold house. Peter seemingly leaves out his window every day, and Ben doesn't talk to him. Not for lack of trying, but Peter's shut himself off, and Ben is dealing with it alone. They're both dealing with it alone, but...
I'm glad that at this point, Ben at least knows about Peter's identity, because that just helps so much. But I really like the concept of this scene.
Yeah.
And having it be just closure for both of them, to help like really bring that relationship closer, because I think it's really important to establish going into phase 2 a strong relationship between Peter and Ben, because they're obviously the only people that the other has at the moment, and I want to make it clear that Ben is going to be like a part of this series as well.
Yeah.
And so having moments like this where they're able to come to terms with what they've both been through is going to be super important going forward. Because I don't think this is the kind of trauma that you're going to like get through in an afternoon sorting through stuff.
No.
I think that it's something that for future stories focusing on Peter, it's something that is going to be very important to connect with even more.
It was very important to me that because this scenario has essentially swapped Aunt May for Uncle Ben,
Mm-hmm.
and that Uncle Ben he's not the same person that the Peter in the comics lost. He's a very different person. We joke about all the power, none of the responsibility or something like that, where Ben's just kind of a glass half full kind of guy. He's like the light in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of the people he surrounds himself with. And so Ben having lost or been closed off from everyone else that make him feel comfortable, it was important to show that this is just as hard for him as it would be for Peter.
Mhm.
And they need one another now more than ever, and neither one of them are getting that
Yeah.
because of where they stand emotionally. And so it's kind of festered, and it was very important to me that we deal with the fallout of that, and that we see Ben being vulnerable. Because in the comics, he's put up as like a paragon. He's the paragon of responsibility and virtue, and Peter's always striving to live towards this borderline unachievable goal that Ben, in his dying moments, gave. It was important to me that we sort of shift that dynamic, and we show Ben as not being this infallible figure, since we have that opportunity, since Ben has been set up to be a different kind of character in this universe.
Is this a closure that Peter 2 is going to get?
That will be touched on, but it was very important. All I'll say right now is that it was important for Ben. I don't think anybody gets closure necessarily by the end of this.
Okay.
I think that some characters are allowed to find a better placement, something that they can feel a little better about. And once one person has better footing, they will be able to help the other.
Okay. Cool.
I think it comes across as much more of a downer moment than I was expecting it to, because I didn't have it fleshed out.
It's not downer. I wouldn't say downer.
Downer's the wrong word, but heavy?
Certainly. Like, it's gonna be a heavy scene because it's dealing with, like, we've joked a lot that we gave Peter, like, the worst day imaginable in Lethal Protectors, of losing, like, nearly everyone all in, like, one fell swoop. And so anytime that we talk about this in the future, it needs to be heavy, because this is like an incredibly dark thing that we put Peter through. And
terrible 10 hours.
Yeah, just the worst 10 hours. And part of the story of phase 2, now that we're into phase 2, is seeing whether or not Peter can still hold up underneath the torture that he's been through. So this is like a hint for what's to come, is just that we're going to be hitting these darker scenes to show just what kind of character our Peter is. And I'm very excited for that point, because it's not only something that's very important to deal with for this character, but I think it's also an important test of our writing ability as well, because we set up this, like, terrible thing, but now we got to pay it off. We got to make sure that we have created a world where the character of Spider-Man can still be a hero even with everything that's happened.
Very much so. Are we ready to bring her home?
I would say so.
I'm thinking, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You killed Peter's dog.
Peter better get a dog, and we better not kill it.
Peter with a gun barreling through Russian mobsters. Call that Spiderwick.
Spiderwick.
The Spiderwick Chronicle.
Oh
my gosh.
I had McDonald's toys from that movie. I never saw it. I had, like, a weird goblin thing.
The weird goblin.
All right.
Next pitch. The weird goblin.
Yeah.
What color is Weird Goblin?
Purple with green.
Chartreuse.
Whoa.
Maroon.
Maroon.
The red brown.
Hashtag, it's like the hex code. It's like £, D8 letters and numbers to make a random color.
Weird Goblin. Call that the Maroon Menace.
The Maroon Menace. Y'all.
There's a team of them. Call them the Maroon 5.
Y'all, the Maroon Goblin.
Here's to the ones that here's to the ones that
I'll never forget you, buddy.
The entire SPUMM podcast
has to do with Venom, I think.
Let's go. We're shifting it now. We're shifting the entire podcast to be Weird Goblin centric. I'm proud to announce.
It's going to be the new recurring bit. Where is Weird Goblin?
Yeah.
Weird Goblin was at the Alchemax show.
So Peter's pretty blue in this whole pitch.
Stop.
I hate you. I know. Bad.
That was no. I'm
You
not
need
even.
to be more
was
clever.
I'm not
sorry.
even entertaining that one.
No,
That was
no.
awful.
Nope.
I'm
You
sorry.
need to start being more clever, buddy.
Yeah.
You take a break for this long, and you come back with that wet fart.
I ate a lot of food and now I'm starting to get speepy. So let's
Speepy.
What?
No
let's-
speepy.
Let's take it.
We're
it to
in
the
Act
end.
3, dude.
I know.
It's Act 3. We're almost done.
We're bringing her home.
Let's bring her home. Act 3. Ready?
All right.
Peter makes his way to Fisk Tower. With the information that he received after talking with Felicia, he has reason to believe that Miles Warren spends 98% of his time here and may never actually leave, for all he knows. If Miles Warren is here, then Peter needs to track him down and figure out why his memories are fading. He sneaks in through an air duct and silently webs up a guard into it like it's the PS4 game, before dropping down onto an empty floor of the building. Slowly, he begins to look over the research and equipment that's being worked on. There's research on memory replication, but nothing about stealing or altering them. He looks around and begins to find more research on cloning. This leads him to a subsection of the lab with 4 large tubes about 6 feet across. One sits in the center, smashed open from within, while one of the 3 surrounding it have been opened from the outside. Peter moves towards one of the closed pods, trying to peer inside, and a hand slams against the glass. Boom! Peter jumps back as a voice can be heard from the door behind him.
Beautiful, aren't they?
Peter turns to see Miles Warren, who casually strolls into the lab. He passes by the tubes, smiling and content with his work. He stops at the opened tube.
Or perhaps this room holds horrors for you. I suppose I'd understand if it does, and I do apologize. But you know we had to perfect the experiment.
Perfect. What are you talking about?
Without the proper memories, this whole project was a bust. A simple blood sample wouldn't be enough to create a perfect replica. Not even close. We needed a complete brain scan, otherwise you won't work right.
We won't. What are you talking about, old man?
Oh, good God, it's worse than I thought. Peter, you're a clone.
Peter is shocked at this.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's perfectly logical, actually. Let me guess, your memories have been spotty of late. Things don't line up with what you remember. Places aren't the same.
Peter takes a step back. Pieces are coming together now, but the picture shakes him to his core.
Your brain is incomplete. You're a faulty experiment, nothing more. Once I realized this, I made a device that could make me imperceptible to the real Peter's heightened senses, and sedated him. I swapped you with the real deal, so that nobody would notice he's missing until I got what I needed. I have what I need now. So the experiment is over.
Peter watches Miles Warren place a glove on each hand. They pulse with a greenish energy, as small claws appear at each fingertip.
Now, I don't want to have to use these, but if you don't cooperate, I'll have to sedate you with the same paralyzing agent that I did with the real Peter.
You're wrong. I'm not faulty. I'm just me. I'm a real person.
My dear boy, you are what I made you. And all I made was a mistake.
Without a word, Miles clicks his heels, and his feet pulse with the same green energy on his claws. He hits a button on the table, causing the windows to wall off, sending the lab into near-complete darkness. From out of nowhere, static starts to play, across the entire room. A record player slowly rises from the floor as the needle drops on Boogie Wonderland by Earth, Wind, and Fire. You knew it was coming, and here it is, the dance scene.
You got to boogie on down.
Miles dashes forward with unnatural speed using these shoes. Peter goes for a punch only for Miles to stop on a dime, sidestepping it. He smiles and then socks Peter in the gut, throwing Peter backwards back through the door he came in. What follows is Miles Warren getting his disco groove on as his claws and shoes prevent him from being hurt. Every hit Peter throws is dodged, Peter can barely see, and the energy the claws are giving off are dampening his spider sense so he can't detect the hits coming his way. This goes on for a while, kind of riffing on bullet time scenes like Quicksilver, but it's not like in slow-mo. So like Peter's moving regular speed, but every time a punch hits, he just goes whoop, and then he grabs him and throws him and punches, and Peter can't see. Or fake Peter, now that it's been revealed, the real clone.
Let's groove tonight.
Is just getting his ass handed to him.
Share the spice of life.
Peter is eventually, after several minutes of just Miles having a grand old time and being so full of himself, is eventually able to get one good hold on an ankle, which surprises Miles because it's the first time it's happened in like 2-3 minutes. This is the moment Peter needs to send him flying through the air and into the record player, stopping the music. Peter doesn't hesitate. He stands and runs towards the tubes, hitting them with all his might until they break.
No! Stop! What are you doing in there?
Peter doesn't listen. He breaks open each tube, throws the heavy table clean through the blocked window. Peter doesn't see them leave, but he does see two figures cast in shadow jump through the opening and out into the night. Miles enters just in time to see Peter jump into the windowsill and turn to face him.
You're throwing away the chance of a lifetime, you know. I can fix your memories, make you whole again. Enhance your powers beyond what you could ever believe.
I already have everything I need, but this isn't over, Doc. When I come back for you, there's nothing that will save you from me. Believe that.
Peter swings off into the New York City skyline as the sun begins to slowly rise. The next morning, Peter 2, the real Peter as it turns out, wakes up to find his Spider-Man suit and web shooters have been returned to him, neatly folded atop his dresser. A set of clothes is missing, though. Meanwhile, Ben wakes up to find a letter by his bedside. He picks it up and begins to read. The letter is read aloud by Peter 1 in voiceover.
Dear Ben, I know this probably won't make any sense, but I want to thank you for everything you've done for me.
Ben and Peter 2, real, collide in the hallway, Peter on his phone while Ben is folding the letter into his pocket.
You and Peter both have been through so much hardship these past few months. You can't do it alone.
Ben and Peter 2 stare at one another for a moment before eventually embracing. Peter 2 is in tears. Ben holds him for a moment, getting choked up.
Peter's too stubborn to ask, but he needs you now more than ever, and you need him too.
Ben and Peter 2 sit at the dining room table and talk. We don't hear what they say, but we know it's them letting go of weights they've been carrying for months now.
You helped me rebuild myself, and it's going to be up to you both to do that for one another too. Your responsibility.
We watch Ben and Peter 2 share a laugh. Peter 2 goes to take a sip of coffee. Ben asks him a question. So, how's being Spider-Man? Peter 2 chokes and spills his coffee, his eyes wide as saucers. Meanwhile, Peter 1 boards a bus out of town. He sits and opens his notebook, sketching something. Pan over his shoulder to see it's a design for an entirely new spider costume.
Sincerely, Ben.
Cut to credits as some new punk song plays. The credits, they run, are flipping notebook pages as the design for the spider suit and web shooters changes and alters over time in the background of different names being read. The pages finally stop flipping as they reach the Spectacular Spider-Man logo, only for parts of it to suddenly be erased and written over. Finally, we watch a blue Sharpie write the words Ben Reilly across the top. Title card, Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider. Cut to black.
I like to imagine it's What I've Done by Linkin Park.
No, we're not doing What I've Done.
What I've done!
Oh my gosh! Holy frick!
That's bad.
That was so
I'll
loud.
face myself.
For once, I'm glad that I don't have my volume all the way up.
I don't either.
That's such a banger song, though. Really good.
I like this, Jared.
Pretty good, yeah.
So, Act 3, I actually wrote this morning.
It's pretty good.
It reads a lot shorter than I had expected, but when I tell you because it occurred to me, I was like, I want there to be a final confrontation with Miles, who reveals that he is a clone. He knows he's having memory issues, and he kind of assumes that something is wrong with him, but he doesn't know what. And part of that can partially be blamed on his shock at learning things that he either forgot or never knew, and then being retold that. So there's just a lot of information going on in his head he's not really able to process. And the final reveal that he is the clone is one that is common in the comics, the Clone Saga. It's like the biggest twist is like the character you've been following is actually the clone. And the one you thought was the clone was actually real Peter. And people didn't like that, so they swapped it back. I think it's from the outset when this was my plan, because I was always like, I want to do Ben Reilly. From the outset, I was like, I want to make the twist work. And obviously, if you're familiar with the comics, you understand the twist is coming a mile away because you're familiar with the story.
Sure.
Anyone who wasn't familiar with the story, I wanted it to come off as somebody has tampered with Peter's mind, and he doesn't know why. That's why when he's dealing with the Alchemech Summit, cloning is just one thing that is there amongst all sorts of other stuff. And he really harps much more on the idea of memory manipulation and recording, which is why the living brain is there. So everything is kind of like following this track of Peter believes that somebody tampered with his mind, removed memories, or the living brain tampered with him. Checks the living brain, that doesn't work. He's getting all this new information that doesn't add up. To try and throw the scent off of anybody being like, is he a clone? I don't know how well it reads, how well that twist works, partially because Act 3 is pretty brief, but I'd like to think that you could pull off a story like this and have it still work as a twist.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think what helps a twist like this is that we know, like, pretty definitively, at least, that we've been following, like, the real Peter for a while. And so it's not the kind of twist where it feels like everything has been taken away from you. That was the big problem with... Oh, gosh. Dog barking. Real quick. Let me mute.
Remove dog. Peyton, what'd you think?
It was pretty good. It's a pretty solid pitch. I think had we had maybe another night, it would have been awesome to have a fully written out version of the Uncle Ben scene from Act 2.
Yeah.
But
part of me is glad that I didn't write it out because I was able to kind of just describe it, and describing it kind of got me in my feelings a little bit. So I'm like, damn.
We're gonna have to get through the post-credit scene real quick.
Yeah. I just wanted to get thoughts out for the story itself before we moved on to mid and post credits.
Okay.
And anyway, like I was saying, because there's no, it doesn't feel like we're being shortchanged on our Peter, like, experiencing stuff. The clone pitch still works because it's a different character coming to terms with the things that Peter has experienced, and is still able to have the heartbreak associated with it, while also learning and growing to become his own character.
Right.
I want to know about this post-credit scene, bro.
Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right. Mid-credit scene. Catch up with Mikey Madison's Felicia Hardy as she grapples from rooftop to rooftop, eventually entering an abandoned warehouse, which doubles as her secret hideout. She gets a call from Peter and promptly ignores it.
Ooh.
Whatever's going on with him, he needs to sort out for himself.
Oof.
She looks up to speak to a small group of people. who I will say now includes Mysterio and Hypno Hustler.
Ooh. Mysterio. Yes.
Mysterio is played by Ben Barnes.
Nice.
Plays
Yep.
Jigsaw in The Punisher.
Oh, good pick. Good pick.
Hypno Hustler is played by Eric Andre.
Also a great pick.
Nice.
That's crazy.
And there's also, if you're familiar with Jed McKay's Black Cat run, she has 2 lackeys that she does jobs with. They are also there. I have not cast them yet. She looks up to the group of people. This is her crew for what is about to be the biggest score of their career. Cut to black. To be continued in my second pitch, Silver and Black.
Ooh.
Nice. Hey, that sounds like the thing that was canceled by Sony.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Intriguing.
Y'all ready for this post credits?
Yeah.
Post credits. The Nevada desert. Timestamp 2021.
Yeah.
A black cockroach crawls across the dirt.
Yes.
Noah wins.
The cockroach.
Noah wins the debate.
I win.
Jarrett concedes. Noah wins the debate.
I was so over this, but apparently not. I'm pissed off now.
You should be. You lost.
The cockroach passes by a small rodent, just long enough for the black color to come off of it into a small blob and then shoot off and onto the field mouse, which promptly runs away. That field mouse is eventually eaten by a snake, and the blob morphs from inside of the snake out and around it.
That's so rad.
The now black snake slithers away. A while later, a bird snatches the snake, and the blob overtakes the bird. This continues on, presumably over time, until we flash forward into what says the present day. The blob finds its way to New York on a pigeon. Pigeon rests on a windowsill, and the black blob releases itself into the quiet room before eventually finding a finger dangling from a bed. It attaches to the finger, climbing its way up the hand, spreading and rolling further and further, covering more and more of the body above, until we see the face of Peter Parker, who awakens just long enough to watch the symbiote cover his face.
Whoa.
Cut to black.
That's sick.
Has to do with Venom, I think.
Oh my gosh. That's
The symbiote
sick.
is back. We are doing Peter has a symbiote and clones at the same time.
That's so rad. It's gonna be so cool.
So, do we want to drop the conceit now about the Astonishing Spider-Man and the Ultimate Spider-Man? Or
I think we kind of have to, dude.
I think the jig is up. I think we should just be real with our audience.
So, guys, we told you Phase 2 was had a trilogy of Spider-Man films. Spectacular Spider-Man. What was the middle
I
one?
can't even remember Astonishing Spider-Man.
Astonishing Spider-Man and Ultimate Spider-Man. And the idea that you would follow Peter through a trilogy of different stories. That was a fucking lie.
Ooh.
Yeah. And there were two other Bacta tanks that opened. Who knows who was inside there? Potentially more clones. That's my guess.
The next Spider-Man pitch was Astonishing Spider-Man, which was Peyton's. And Peyton, what is your pitch called?
Jessica Drew.
Jessica Drew.
I have been dropping hints the last couple months. I've been reading a lot of Ultimate Spider-Man comics, and I keep dropping hints. And so I thought that somebody would have said something by now.
And then Noah, who up to this point has said that he was pitching Ultimate Spider-Man. Noah, what pitch are you doing?
Well, y'all know that I have big appreciation for biblical stories and things like that. So, gonna follow the Mark of Cain.
Is the pitch called The Mark of Cain?
I think
Yeah.
that's funny.
Oh, that's so good.
Great.
This
Okay.
Spider-Man trilogy was secretly 3 individual clone saga pitches.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Reilly, Jessica Drew, and Kane.
I'm so excited.
We've been holding on to that since before the announcement of Phase 2. And then we finally announced Phase 2 and we were like, we can't announce clones this early. We can't just say, "Hey guys, by the way, it's all clones. We're doing clones right now." Even though we tease it in Lethal Protectors at the very end, I was like, "We should." Peyton was like, "We gotta hold off. We have to hold off until at least Ben Reilly is out." And now it's here, and I'm so excited.
It's gonna be great.
Ah!
It's gonna be sick.
Oh my gosh.
Let's close this
Okay.
out, y'all.
Guys, we're so excited. Phase 2 is here. It's only going to be up from here, I promise. I hope. We're building, we're planning. The roller coaster is going up the track, and I'm so excited.
This is gonna be great. Phase 2 is gonna be rad.
This is so much fun.
And next time we meet, it's gonna be another guest pitch.
Okay.
Indeed.
And then after that will be my first pitch of Phase 2, Big Wheel,
Let's go.
which I am incredibly excited about. It is becoming very, very fun. Okay.
All right, guys. It's been a pleasure. We're so excited, and tune in 2 weeks for the next guest pitch, and then 2 weeks later, Big Wheel. I'm
Okay.
really intrigued by Big Wheel.
It's gonna be sick.
It's gonna be
You're
sick.
gonna love it.
Till next time, folks. See you
Bye.
around.
Bye bye.
Bye.